Okay, let's go. We have a video. It's a Wednesday in Japan. It's hot summer. If you want to look at this up close and you're thinking, man, could I see the set? I do unboxing so that you can see the set. So check it out and subscribe there, because you have to do that to even participate in the giving away of joy from these sets. And this set might be included because some of my Patreons, or all of them, don't really even make bids on some sets. And a Yanyin, it's possible this might fall through the cracks. So if that's the case, go ahead and comment below, because it's an $850 set, and it's pretty good. Love the cable. So comment below. Got to be a subscriber, and got to be a subscriber for the thing that I do. You don't have to subscribe, obviously, but if you want to participate in the everybody enjoy the hobby, comment below, be a subscriber, give the video a thumbs up if you actually like it, and make sure you did the same for the unboxing of the set, where you can get a close look at it. Now, having said that, this is an interesting set. I saw a Yanyin squig, but that's got to be down to pre-release, and also maybe taking measurements from a different format and then applying that file into a squig, because it looks radically different. But I unwrapped this from plastic in the unbox, so this is a retail version without any doubt, so I'm reviewing it. It's got a tuning that a lot of sets are doing this recently. Before, it was really the Dunu SA6 that pioneered or made this common, and then they did variants of it, and there's good points and bad points. It's not going to offend you in any clear, obvious, obnoxious way with a random cut or an obnoxious boost anywhere. On the other hand, it's going to not really stand out at moments where you might want it to stand out, because it's not really tuned to do that. So it's kind of Dunu-ish in that way. Let me pull up two Dunus just for reference. That would be the SA6 Mark II, which has less ear gain region, which is no. And then this is the Ultra Bass, which has more bass and more. This was probably the better Ultra Bass set than the SA6 Mark II, but this is tuning that is along that line, just for reference. Talking about bass, this is 10 balanced armatures, just to be clear, and this is in 4.4, and the cable looks nice. And again, you can go take a look at the unbox to see everything that comes inside of it. Good luck to people that comment below. Starting with the low frequency, the Big Boy Killjill, the 808 Roland, the Deck Mix Drop. This isn't a bass head set. This isn't even really a set like a Hype 4, the Hype series in general. Giz Audio's Chopin. The tuning of the Chopin is actually more my thing than the Da Vinci, personally, because it just does my library better. So kind of like a Chopin would do, the 808 Roland drops just really fine and still do clean vocals. This isn't quite built like that. So there are lots of other sets like the Chopin, like the Hype series, that you can get. This isn't that. The 4/5 bass guitar, the plucks, pulls, releases, the ringing of the strings actually doesn't sound bad. There's a couple instances, Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits, where I would like the basses to sound a little more in the mix, like in the studio when they push up the bass slider to try to pull it back, depending on what they're doing, or doing both within the mix, like a kind of a solo. The bassist steps forward on stage literally, and they actually give him more emphasis and amplitude in the mix, so that people not only are looking at him stepping forward, they're hearing him louder. Those moments where it sounds like in that track that's happening, this doesn't really convey that. The instrument sounds accurate, but it doesn't have quite the energy to keep up with parts where the bass is. Dazed Confused by Led Zeppelin, kind of the same, doesn't quite have that energy. So it sounds accurate to the instrument. There are times where I wish it had a little more, like it was present. As we get into the kick drum, I'm really talking about the same thing. Sounds good. Fourth album, that track's about to roll in. You're familiar with it and you love it. You're getting ready for the boom, boom. It's going to maybe not capture you quite the way you might expect or want. It's going to sound accurate to the kick drum. It might not have the emphasis that you want for that track, which is iconic, and they've been writing about it in magazines for 50 years, and there's reasons for that. So the bass guitar, I think for hip hop, there's a lot of other options. For bass guitar and drums, a lot of people might actually like this. Personally, this review, I have to give my own opinion. I think there are moments where I feel like it doesn't step out when it's supposed to on both those instruments. When the Levee Breaks on the 4th album, and also Sultans of Swing, for example. There's a couple others. As we move into vocals, Chris Cornell, Lane Staley, Blondie, for example, they're kind of Spartan in the back, so I can kind of focus on the vocals. Vocals sound good. I think that female vocals need a little bit more in the upper mids to my ear. Male vocals can, the lower range, a huskiness to the vocals, like the Mark Knopfler. When I'm listening to Sultans of Swing, I'm not just listening to bass guitar, I'm listening to the whole track. Mark Knopfler sounds a little bit, I'd like him to step out a little bit more, and I think the tuning prevents that. That's most apparent with the Nina cover of Heart of Glass. I think this isn't really or in my opinion, a set that would be great for female vocals in the same way that something like some of the Moondrops earlier that I wasn't a fan of, like the Variations, with the peak at, I think it's around 3 to 3.5, and it's got a little energy that really makes female vocals step out, especially if the mid bass is clean. This doesn't do that. It sounds okay, but some people who like female vocals might prefer a little more energy there. This reviewer's opinion. As we move into what is essentially overtones, remember, Knuckle strikes the table. It's just a split second. The fundamental event, the harmonics that it created are 90% of what you actually hear with your ear. Are taken care of. It's a descending, rolling off type of tuning, which I think matches what happens to sound over time. It falls away, so this doesn't sound unnatural when it comes to cymbals, rides or crashes, pianos or electric versions, which are called keyboards, vocal harmonics, electric or acoustic guitars. Doesn't have any problems there. And as a matter of fact, it would probably be its best point overall, that I don't feel fatigued at any point or feel tizziness by listening to something like the crash on Blind Faith, Can't Find My Way Home on 29 seconds and 38 seconds. At those moments, I never feel like, whoa, like I could listen to this for a long period of time. So I guess in that sense, it's a sofa set without the emphasized bass. Sofa set is a set that you can put in your ear and listen to until your ears start to get hurt, or you just don't want to listen anymore. There are other sets that have time limits on them because of the treble tuning. Like, you can enjoy them for an hour. The Annihilator by Elysian is a set that I can enjoy, but it's definitely on a time clock. That energy in the treble is going to get to me. I know it. I've accepted it. Enjoy it, but it's not going to be like fall asleep with it or listen to it for 2 hours. This type of tuning will do that, though I would prefer a little bit more bass. So let me put this up on a scale. Is it a dumpster fire? No. And the no dip switches help a lot, in my opinion. Hope it was free. For somebody who comments below, it might be. Coping is working. A little bit, because as you can hear as I'm explaining how I hear it as it relates to the sound, I'm excusing it a little bit, and giving excuses to companies or gears is coping. Right. Competes with its peers. $850. I'm gonna stick it in between coping as where it competes with its peers, because I don't have a full mental library of all the things that exist at $850. There could be a few that people be like, bro, you forgot about so I won't do that. I am coping like I do with a lot of sets that I end up actually saying I'd buy them myself. Between coping and working and competes with its peers. Some people are gonna love this. Remember, the people who are big fans of, for example, Zeos. Zeos loved the Dunu SA6. I think the Ultra. I'm pretty sure he did anyway. And this might be a set that he hypes a lot. And I could get it because it matches something that he's wrecked previously. You can check my Dunu videos, and I was kind of lukewarmish about it overall. And I think it's really got to do with, let me bring up one more thing, and I want to bring up the camper, because you see where the difference really, really actually lays. There's not a radical difference when it comes to the treble. It's the amount of bass that's balancing out the treble that's making the huge difference here. And forget about what I say is an incredible bass impact with Roland drops, not with other stuff, but when it gets tickled, it does some crazy stuff. It's right there. It's in the way that the low energy, the rhythm section in particular, is being presented. So it's not way off the charts as far as being acceptable tuning. It's just that bass as it relates to everything past 1K is just a little bit different from my personal, very often stated preference. So that is the Yanyin Carmen. If this is what they were going for, good job. And when people who are big fans of Dunu get a hold of this, I'm sure they're going to push it, because this is right down their alley. And that's it. I'm out this Wednesday. I would be much more active. I got slowed down because I literally just moved from a house to a brand new one, and I'm in the process of having to move my whole review station. So before I let you, I'll let that go. Patreons, 2 people have been sent, 1 is remaining, and 2 people that have won that are followers and supporters of my channel by subscribing. You are ready to go and probably will go on Saturday. This is just such a busy move time, but everybody that gets their stuff or is told that they're going to win it gets it. You can check the history. That always happens. And one guy on Hi-Fi Guides, Olina, I got you covered, bro, so don't worry about that. And I am out.